So let's move on up to page 13. And so I have, let's start with number 9 here. So I have 3 hundreds, 2 tens, and 62 ones. So I know 62 ones is the same thing as 6 tens and 2 ones. So I'm going to put the 2 ones into that little ones column space, I see. I'm going to add the 6 tens into the tens column and add it up with the 2 tens that are already in the question. And I still have 3 hundreds. Now, 2 plus 6, that equals a total of 8. There's no regrouping involved. There's no regrouping involved with the ones either because it's also below 10. So this is actually quite easy and a total answer of 382. So now we're going to move on to number 11. The teacher bought 92 pencils for her students. The students brought 48 also. How many total pencils are there? So if I write my number sentence, I'm going to have 92 plus 48 because they're bringing them together, which means an addition question. I actually want to set it up vertically, and so I'm going to look at it here because that's what we've been dealing with over here. So now I have 2 plus 8. That adds up to 10. So I'm going to carry my 1 or regroup my 1 above into the tens column. So I have 1 plus 9 plus 4. So that equals a total of 14. So I add up, my final answer is 140. Now let's move on to page 17. This is going to be our final example page for this booklet. So we're going to start with number 4. We have 54 tens and 16 ones. So I'm going to start with my regrouping of the 16 ones. That's actually the same thing as 1 10 and 6 ones. So I'm going to put 6 in the ones column up here. And I'm going to add 1 to the 54 tens I already have. And I still have 0 hundreds at this point. Now 54 plus 1 is the same thing as 55. So I'm like, oh, well 55 tens, that's the same thing as 5 hundreds and 5 tens because I can make 10 tens as 100. It's the same concept like we did with the ones. So then I'm going to add 5 into the hundreds column and basically be left with 5 tens. So now I have 0 plus 5 in terms of the hundreds column. I still have my 5 tens and I still have my 6 ones. So my final answer for this one is going to be 556. Now let's go on to number 5. I have 172 ones. Make sure you're careful about this one. This one's kind of designed to trick you up. So 72 ones, I can definitely regroup that. That's the same thing as 7 tens and 2 ones. So I'm going to put 2 in my ones column here. I'm going to put 7 into my tens column. Now, I have 0 basically to begin with. It didn't tell me I had any tens, so that's why I'm putting 0 plus 7 up here. And I still have a 1 in the hundreds column. Now, the ones have already been regrouped, and the tens don't need to be because we don't have 10. So then, my final answer is nice and easy, 172. Finally, let's move on to number 8 here. I have 4 hundreds, 40 tens, and 34 ones. It's a big problem right here. So let's start with the ones. I have 34 ones I can regroup. So that breaks down to 3 tens and 4 ones. So I'm going to go ahead and put 4 into the ones column, and I'm going to add 3 into the tens column. Now it already had 40, so I'm going to put a 40 plus 3 here. So that's equal to 43. I have 43 tens. I can definitely regroup that as well. That breaks down to 4 hundreds and 3 tens. Because I can basically put 4 groups of 10 into that 43. So I'm going to pull 4 hundreds out of that and add it with the 4 it already had. So I get 4 plus 4 of my hundreds part, and I have the 3 tens left over and leave them in there. 4 plus 4 gives me 8. So I have 8 hundreds, 3 tens, and 4 ones, which is a total of 834.